Welcome to Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs, the podcast that gives you an unfiltered, behind-the-scenes look at what it's really like being a woman in the middle who's over 50 and following her entrepreneurial dreams. Grab a superhero cape, girlfriend, because you deserve one. I'm your host, Master Certified Life Coach and Midlife Mentor, Susie Rosenstein, and I am excited to inspire you with interviews that feature all of this midlife amazingness. Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to the show. We have a really exciting interview ahead of us about creating a passion project with fitness and nutrition. Today, you'll be meeting Jo Mettenburg, a woman in the middle entrepreneur who's completely passionate about helping women focus on a healthy metabolism, nourishing their body versus dieting, and getting strong. Welcome to the show, Jo. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here too. It's so funny that you're so passionate about something that people aren't all passionate about, right? So I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I know we're going to have a great conversation about your midlife entrepreneur story, and we're going to be talking about your business, what's going really well, and also what midlife issues might be getting in your way just a little bit. You know, I like to call them hiccups, but sometimes they're really challenging for you in your life and as well as being a business owner. So let's get started. If you could tell us a little bit about how old you are, how long you've been an entrepreneur, and, you know, a little bit about your journey and your business. So take it away.
Yeah. So I am 50 this year. I can't believe it, but I am.
Welcome to the better side. So glad you're here.
Yeah. My sister-in-law tells me when you hit 50, you stop caring what other people think, and there's so much freedom. So I'm excited for that. So my business, Couture Coaching, or the long name is Couture Fitness and Lifestyle Coaching, will be 2 years old this summer. And so it is actually my side hustle. I don't do it full time. And that's because I am an attorney full time by day. I say I'm an attorney by day and then a fitness fanatic by night and early morning, mostly early morning. I'm kind of I turn into a pumpkin at about 8 p.m. And so, yeah, I got certified through the life coach school in 2020, the year of the pandemic. And I found Brooke's podcast. I would say 2018 or 2019. I took the plunge to get certified in 2020 because I was in a very dysfunctional job situation. I actually did not get certified thinking, I'll do something with fitness and nutrition. But that's been my hobby since I discovered the world of bodybuilding in 2015, and it's been my absolute passion.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on a second. First of all, I also trained at the life coach school, so I didn't realize that's where you trained as well. So that is so cool. And yeah, when I started, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do with this amazing new education, but I couldn't help but going deeper, and like it was so amazing for me. So tell me about bodybuilding and how did these insights start to come to you?
Yeah. So my now business partner, who I never in a million years dreamed that the two of us would start a business. Her name is Allison. She approached me in 2015, she and another friend, and said, "Hey, we're doing a fitness competition. Why don't you do one with us?" And I was like, okay. I was a runner before then, not a serious runner. I had done a marathon, half marathon, but running what I was doing to stay in shape. So I kind of blindly went along with it, not knowing what I was getting into. And
that's hilarious. I can't imagine somebody asking me that and the answer being, yes, I'll blindly go along with you.
Yeah. So we all used the same coach. I met with the coach, and she called me her fitness Barbie. If you're listening to this, I'm tall and have blonde hair. That's about as much as I resemble Barbie. Anyway. So, I just started doing what she told me to do. And it was, I would say, one of the most profoundly transformative things I have ever done. For the first time in my life, I actually learned how to eat. I wasn't on a diet. I was learning how to nourish my body. It wasn't just a matter of how little could I get by on, and just everything was strategic. I wasn't just going to the gym and getting on a treadmill for an hour to burn off as many calories as I could. I started lifting weights. I mean, and the changes in my body, I couldn't believe it. And I was 42, 43 at the time. I'm bad at math. So, changes I did not think were possible in my body. And it totally changed my life. I mean,
what? What's one of those changes that really surprised you? Because you were a runner, you were probably fairly tuned in with your body. What did you notice?
I was thin. I was not overweight, but I was pudgy. I mean, there was cellulite on my stomach. I thought I looked okay, but I mean, I developed shoulders. I got a waist again. Like my body, I shrunk to a size I had not been since high school. I just can't even explain it. Like my whole body just changed.
So, wow.
And I
So
felt
lots of
good.
things changed, right?
Yeah. And I used to do exercise as a punishment. It was like a way to keep the weight at bay and just something you did because, if you wanted to give the illusion that you had it all together, you exercise. I was always interested in fitness and nutrition, but I didn't really know what I was doing. But so exercise, I mean, I loved it. Wild horses couldn't keep me away from the gym. I would get up at 4 a.m. to drive to the gym and work out at 5 with my trainer. So I don't know. It profoundly changed me.
Wow.
And everyone would be like, you're going to get up in a tiny bikini in front of like hundreds of people. And I was like, yeah. And let someone judge you. And I was like, yeah, I mean, because you do it with a team. And so I was with all these other women we would get up at 5 a.m. on Thursdays and put on our tiny bikinis and go walk around together and pose. And, they tell you how to stand and stuff. And so I don't know. It's kind of like when I had a baby, like all modesty went out the window and you realize everyone has different bodies and I have assets and you have assets and, we're all different. And yeah, I don't know. It was really empowering. It was amazing. So
Okay, like I'm in shock. I'm making weird facial expressions. I'm thinking, "Oh my God." Like every time you make another sentence, I'm like, "Really?" Like the bikini thing I didn't even think of that until you said it. And then being
mhm.
with other women and then getting judged, like even when you said competition, I didn't think judged in a bikini because I'm just so I don't know. I'm just so surprised by what you're saying and
Mhm.
how it kind of surprised you and how it was kind of a blind yes, but you were leaning into something that you were interested in, which that's the part that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think if I had not had any interest, but I mean, the thing that I think that shocked me the most is I thought I knew a lot. I mean, I had been subscribing to Shape magazine since I was 18.
Oh, wow.
Every weird diet I had done, I mean, and so I realized like, I don't know anything about nutrition. Like I truly did not know how to eat in a way that gave my body fuel, that supported it. I was running on fumes and
Oh, Joe,
I
I'm
was,
so glad you're talking about your surprise
yeah.
because you're right. When it's so hard to understand with literacy the information about nutrition. And I've also noticed this with menopause that really helps us. There's just so much information out there, and to be able to really understand what will help you and what you need to know to make the changes you want to make and all of that. So here you were thinking you've been serious about this. You're well read. You've always been plugged in to some level. And yet you're so shocked at this age that there was so much you didn't know. That's fascinating. And the bikini judgment thing contest is fascinating too. But keep talking. I love your story.
Yeah. So that was 2015. I was, working full time as an attorney then. My children were small then. I mean, not small, but like grade school age. So then I went on about my way. And then, like I said, I didn't do a show again actually until I did the show the same year I got another show the same year I got certified, but kept the lifestyle up for the most part. That we'll get into that more about the metabolism piece of things because I made one critical mistake. So then 2000, the pandemic rolled around and probably 2019, I found myself like in a kind of a toxic job situation. I mean, I still liked being an attorney. I liked what I was doing. I was not a great environment to the point it was making me physically ill.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And so I told my husband, I was like, listen, I'm going to have a healthy midlife crisis. I'm going to get this coaching certification. I just thought it would help me deal with that job. Honestly, I thought I could sort of do enough mind tricks that it would make the job tolerable, that I
Mind
would just
tricks.
coach
That's
myself.
that's hilarious. Mind
Um,
tricks.
and so I
Put
started
that on my
doing all
business
the,
card.
yeah, I started doing all the work. And around the same time, I had a friend actually from law school that had been certified. She coached me for a little bit before I signed up for certification. And she's like, well, you're going to have, like, why don't you? And honestly, I was looking for anything to distract me from this job. It was the pandemic, so I had free time. She's like, why don't you start a blog? And I'm like, what would I blog about? She said, well, all your show and nutrition and fitness stuff. I was like, no one wants to read that from an almost 50-year-old. She was like, I would. And so I did. I was like, well, no one's going to believe what you have to, like you actually have to eat more. It's not about dieting. It's about building your body, not whittling it down. So I got on board with it. And actually, I wrote like 10 blog posts the first night. I was like, okay, now I know what it's like to work on something that I'm really inspired about. But I still did not connect that with life coaching.
Sure.
So then I went and got my life coaching certification. And she said, why don't you do another show and blog about the journey? And I was like, that actually sounds fun. So then I called up who is now my business partner, Allison, and said, hey, I'm going to do another show. Help me find a coach. She said, oh, oh no. She's like, you're going to do 6 months of eating a bunch. You're going to, before you even, no coach will take you right now. Cause I had let my calories kind of dwindle down. She knew that. She was like, and it wasn't that I had a ton of weight to lose. She just was like, no coach will take you eating 1,500 calories a day. You have to get your calories up to 2,000 calories. For 6 months, and then I will help you find a coach. She was like, otherwise, she's like, you're going to totally trash your metabolism. You will end up gaining so much weight at the end of this. Like you're not. And I knew this, but I was like, okay. So
that diet mentality is so hard to crack, even when you know all the things. Like it's insane. And also because we're older, we've been dealing with it for so much longer,
Yeah.
So it's so much of a deeper narrative for us. Wow.
Yeah. So I started blogging. I started life coach school around the same time. And I started doing the stuff. And then the job got really bad, like really bad. And so I had been resisting doing anything directly about the job, like looking for a new job, anything like I didn't think it was possible for me, really. I had been doing the same thing for 15 years. I'm in a pretty specialized field as an attorney. I could go to New York or Chicago. I live in Kansas City and find a job pretty easily, but not in Kansas City in the field that I am. So I just was like, this is not a possibility for me. And somehow, like getting certified, it was like, well, just put your resume together. So I did that. And honestly, in about a month's time, I mean, coaching had just started. In a week's time, I put my resume together. I applied for a few jobs. I got a job interview with like a dream company, and I had a new job within, I mean, like all the reasons I had gone to life coach school sort of evaporated because I got this amazing job in Kansas City with amazing people. And so like, poof, like what I thought I was going to life coach school for resolved itself, like literally in a week. I could not believe it.
What do you know? This mind trickery at it again.
Yeah. So then I was like, I don't know. I mean, what am I going to do with this? So, I did my volunteer coaching. Asked friends if I could coach them. And and they were like, well, what should I was like, well, I can coach you on getting a new job, weight loss, because everyone coaches on weight loss, it seems. I didn't really want to be a weight loss coach. But anyway, so that's what everyone kind of wanted to work on. So I had a couple of clients that I coached on weight loss and, just about, I kind of took a little bit of a different approach and was like, let's focus on eating protein, like let's focusing on nourishment first before we work. And I really enjoyed that and thought it was interesting. But still was like, what am I going to do with this coaching certification? And then it was near the end of getting certified. I went to I think it was a Lindsay Mango lunchtime webinar about like find your coaching niche. And so I went to that and she said, coach on something. You can coach on anything. What if you went to a dinner party and could talk for hours about something, what would it be? And do that. So I was like, fitness and nutrition, like body recomposition. So that happened in the very same week. I had friends now following my blog and they're like, oh my gosh, you look so amazing, which I was showing pictures all along. They're like, I can't believe like how much you can change your body by lifting weights and, your nutrition. And, so I had a little following, friends mostly. And so I ran into a friend at CVS and she was like, oh, Jo, she was like, I've been reading your blog. She's like, you look amazing. She's like, you have inspired me to start walking every day. And I said, okay, that's great. And she said, but she was like, I just can't lose. I mean, I've tried everything. It's not working. She's probably in her mid 40s. She's like, my body just will not lose weight anymore. So my doctor sent me to another doctor and I paid $2,000 for a consultation and he's going to put me on pills and have me do 800 calories a day. And I said, please don't do that. I was like, I will help you. Please do not do that. You will destroy your body if you do that. And she said, well, I'm not going to, because I've read enough of your blog to know that that's not the way to do it. And so I went home and I called my friend Allison. I was like, we are doing this. I mean, I was like, this is the women's alternative is paying thousands of dollars to doctors to starve them and put them on pills that we know what that will do to them in a year. the boomerang weight gain, they will then truly not ever be able to lose weight again. They will destroy their metabolisms by doing that. And so we did, we started. So we had no name. We had no idea what we were doing. But both of us agreed, like, we don't want to give up our day job. And this was kind of her passion project too. Like, she was the person I always called when, like, how do I find a coach? What do I want to do about this? I want to build out my glutes. How do I do it? Or what should I do? So she fortunately said yes. And then a few months later, we found a business coach and we got a name and a website. And that coach was amazing because I had a lot of preconceived notions. I think probably like women have about their bodies, about what was and wasn't possible. And she kind of said, put that aside. What can you do? What do you want to do? Let's get to work.
Anything's possible. And you find, like, we don't want to believe it, but it's really true.
Yeah. And we were like, she was like, okay, go sell your program. We were like, to who? She said, well, start with your email list, your personal email list. She was like, people you don't think have any interest in this will buy. People who you think, oh my gosh, they'll be my first client, won't have any interest in it. And it's true. We sold out our first 3 programs just on basically our personal email lists. Like, we combined our emails. That was our first email list and sold out 3 programs. So
yeah, that's amazing. So you did a couple of things here that's interesting that I just want to talk about a little bit. One of them is you had a partner, and the other one is that you kept your day job ultimately. So can you talk a little bit about why you made those decisions?
Yeah, I have a partner because, when I was doing the coaching, the life coaching piece of this, like filling my volunteer hours through LCS, I would work with ladies. I'd be like, so my friend, Allison, now my business partner, had a little like macros, nutrition coaching and fitness coaching online thing on the side. So I was referring people to her and be like, hire Allison. She'll do your macros. I'll do the life coaching piece of this. Like, I'll do the mindset piece. So we were kind of working together already. I knew I couldn't do my full-time job and do the nutrition. I mean, I couldn't do it all. Right. She had a system built out. I really trusted her. Here's the main reason decided I wanted to go into business with her is I've been in the industry a long time. I've had a lot of coaches. Most of them have eating disorders, and she does not. She's not she has a very good relationship with nutrition, with her body. And I really wanted to pair up with someone like that. And I don't think a lot of women, we've all had the trainer who lives in the gym and you're like, well, I cannot go live in the gym. I have a full-time job. I have children. So she was amazing about just making it as simple as possible. Like getting what needs to be done, and not letting what I call majoring in the minors get in the way. And so I really liked her approach and I really trusted her from a nutrition standpoint. So
well, you're talking a lot about fit, which is really important when we're hiring anybody, because as entrepreneurs, we do need help and we do need to hire people. And it's one of the things I noticed being an entrepreneur is that you have to really learn to trust yourself. And so get the information you need and really ask a lot of questions. So you with all of your experience, you figured out what you were really looking for and the kind of values and experience you were looking for. And it really helped you make a decision. That's cool.
Yeah. I guess the best way to say, I just knew it was the right way to do it. I don't know. It wasn't like, oh, do I, or I just knew. I knew my gut. Yeah.
Now, what about the decision to keep your day job? How is that showing up for you?
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it other than I'm just not ready to give it up yet. I am good at what I do during the day. I enjoy it. This is going to sound very egotistical. I don't mean it like this. I have a very big brain. I am a voracious reader, learner. My job it's very technical. I enjoy that. I enjoy the challenge of figuring out new things, of being an attorney. So I just wasn't ready to give it up. And kind of when someone gave me permission to do both, I was like, okay, I get to have the best of both worlds. And
yes, you do. The other thing we learn as an entrepreneur is that, we're making decisions all the time. And the best thing to do is to make a decision. And you can always revisit it at another time. So one way or the other.
She had no interest. She feels the same way about her profession.
That's great.
I paid a lot of money for that degree. Fortunately, I'm not in debt for it anymore, but it really was a decision again from not like, oh gosh, can I ever make enough money? That just wasn't even kind of we have made a lot of money, but that's not been the point of the side hustle. And it's not like a charity, but we both were fortunately in a place where we could just kind of say, this is for fun. but we're going to take it seriously as a business. And we have
Sounds
jobs
good.
that will accommodate that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're in sync. That's great. Okay, now one of the things I am really passionate about is this intersection between being the age and stage that you're at and the classic midlife issues that pop up and are part of, really just you being you right now and running your business. Can you talk a little bit about what that is like for you with midlife hiccups?
Yeah. So I have two teenagers. My daughter is a sophomore, soon to be a junior in high school. I have a son who will be a freshman in high school next year. So 14 and 17-year-old for all intents and purposes. So they are not my hiccup. Obviously, I love them. But honestly, when this will all come full circle with this, it'll make sense. I remember I listened to a lot of Stacey Bayman podcasts. So for those of you who are listening, she's like a business life coach. 2K for 2K is her signature program. So I listened to a lot of her when I first started building this business. And she said something like, your constraint is your gift. And so whether that's no one has endless amounts of time and money to build their business. If you have time, you probably don't have money unless you have like a benefactor. If you have money, you probably don't have time because you probably haven't quit your day job yet. So whatever the constraint is, it's the biggest gift that you have. And so that has been so true. So time is my constraint. I can't do everything. That has saved me from going down so many stupid rabbit holes. I mean, we really just have had to be very efficient. We had to learn how to scale quickly because we had more business than we knew what to do with. We had to learn how to bring on coaches, hire coaches, market in an efficient way, delegate marketing to someone. And I am a perfectionist. I am very much a perfectionist. So I had to learn a lot. And I think my children are that in some ways. So I was listening, they're my constraint, but they're also my gift. I am very aware that in 2 years, my daughter will be going to college, hopefully, knock on wood.
Exactly.
And I will be probably, and that scares me, but that's made me lean into this business and I listened to a parenting podcast the other day, is like, when you hit that empty nest phase, or just if you better have something on the side or something to take your attention, because it's not your job. Your job is going to shift radically. Yes, you will still be their mom, but you're not going to be driving them around. You're not going to have games to go to. So you better have something to sort of take up all that time and energy. So I had some inkling that was coming. And so I really feel like this business has been a gift. It will be a gift for me. And it's really given me permission I don't have to grow it overnight. It can grow organically. My husband is an entrepreneur. He owns an accounting firm. And I just watching him, I mean, there are just 5 years of like blocking and tackling, I think, that any business has to go through before it really hits its stride.
Yeah,
So
I love blocking and tackling. That's great. What you say about the empty nest thing, it's a huge part of the work I do. And there are many phases of empty nest. And right now you're like starting to prepare and thinking about what it will be like. And the thing is that no two empty nests really look the same, because there's coming and going. There's kids who leave late. There's kids who come back. There's kids who don't come back. There's kids who go and then come back. Like it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I guess the thing that I really come to realize with the whole empty nest thing is that it's kind of the end of one phase, but it's the beginning of a phase, God willing, that's going to be way longer than this phase. So your relationship with adult children is way longer than the phase that you're just preparing to close at this point. So it's fluid and it's interesting, and there's so much opportunity. And I think you're really getting your head around opportunity. So that's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, so a lot of the things, and I'm a restless person. So a lot of the things I wanted, like, I want to have a cookbook. Like, well, okay, we'll tackle that when my daughter's in college. Like, I mean, a lot of the things I would be like, we need to do this now. Like I kind of they have given me permission to be like, no, you don't have to do that right now. It's okay. It's a great idea. We don't have to execute on that right now. And so I think if we're trying to do all of that right now, like something, it would not be good for the business. Like you can, so I think in a way, my hiccups have been the greatest gift to this business. So And they're at a stage where my daughter is driving, so they're more emotionally consuming than time consuming.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned in your note that sometimes you find the emotional energy hard at this point. And yeah, like I remember somebody told me when the kids were babies, that little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems, right? And it's really true. It's really true. In my experience, it's true. So, has anything else come up with energy? Now that your nutrition is all dialed in, maybe you're not experiencing that. I wonder.
Well, I mean, I think people look at me, they're like, I don't know how you do everything you do. You get up and work out, you work your full-time job, like evenings and weekends are, I do some coaching calls on the weekends. I do most of like marketing work and stuff during the evenings. The only thing I have great energy, but it is because of my lifestyle. I mean, it's because of my nutrition, my fitness habits. And that's what I will say is like, if you get your nutrition in order, I mean, people think of it as like, oh, what a hassle. But no, it's energy. I mean, energy is the basis for making money. It's the basis for feeling good. It's everything. Energy is, I mean, you have to experience it, but like, it's why I want to do this work because, and that is the number one thing all of our clients say is like, I cannot believe how much better I feel. I don't have to take a nap every afternoon. I have an abundance of energy. And now I get how you can do what you do.
That's great.
Yeah.
Another thing that you pointed out in your note is that sometimes you experience a little bit of this 50-50 idea, the idea that, of course, even though many of us don't want to believe it, about 50% of our lives is not as positive as the other 50%. But having this entrepreneurial itch, you've described it a little bit that a lot of times you're wanting to do more, but you keep pulling back because of energy and you don't want to be overworked. So this balance that you talked about a little bit, what is that like for you? When you think about wanting more balance, you said it's a fine line between being overworked and balance.
Yeah. Well, so I think I didn't realize that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I really do love it. I mean, partly because I don't know that I would love another business as much because this is my passion.
Yeah.
And I can see it's radically changing the quality of life of the women that we have as clients. We could do a totally like 5-series podcast on, how just the diet culture, the messages that we get as women that you can't be hungry, you're not supposed to eat. I mean, it's still with most women when they hit 50, 60, 70. I mean, it's just deep.
Oh, for sure. But when you think about balance, because you're really trying to walk your walk, right? And you do have a full-time gig and a thriving entrepreneurial business, what comes up in terms of balance? What are those areas that you're like, this is a little out of whack. I need to work on it a little bit more, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think it is, what I was saying is like, I mean, that it's so fulfilling. So it's something I love. So I think it's just like, I have a lot of ideas, just not being able to act on them.
I can tell. Yeah.
Trying to find a place to put them, like in a parking lot and like understanding, like, you don't have to act on that now. It could be ADHD too. I may have undiagnosed ADHD.
But you also have the entrepreneurial mindset. And this comes up a lot with people I'm talking to on the podcast is we do have a lot of ideas. We're very creative and we're so passionate. So it's no wonder that you're like bursting at the seams with ideas. Another thing that you did mention that I personally can relate to is it's not that it's completely getting in your way, but you're noticing that not everybody feels this way. And it's about having patience with social media. And that comes up a lot with midlife women. So what's that like for you?
It's frustrating. Yeah. I mean, it's like you put so much energy into it, but I get it. I analogize like social media kind of like going on a mainstream, like keto or something. Like you might get a bunch of likes fast and then it's like the desert for ages and ages. So to me, it's an annoyance more than anything. So we've delegated that basically. I mean, we are involved in like the messaging and like given our VA very clear directives about like, this is the message that we want to send, but I don't mess around making graphics but it's hard, again, I'm a perfectionist. And so I want it to be right, but it's hard I can't totally detach from it, but, but I view it as a little bit of a necessary evil. Like we have to show
but the way you've handled it is to offload the majority of it. So that's great. Yeah. Okay. So tell me about this book that you want to do someday because you already have a podcast. So what's your main message and why do you think a book someday would be a good idea?
Yeah. So we just finished up a coaching session with a coach who really is helping us refine our copy and kind of, speak directly to our niche audience and our ideal client. And so she, at the end of our session, was like, okay, I'm going to challenge you. Like, how do you go big? Like she gave us kind of some options. Like you're going to go, look for TV appearances, like speaking gigs or a book. So I think I am more of a writer than I am, a public speaker or a motivational speaker. I just don't have that persona, I guess. So maybe I could develop it. And I don't know. The book is what made me think of it is I don't know if you follow Dave Ramsey or know who he is. So he's the personal finance guy, and it's like how to get out of debt in 5 baby steps. So I followed Dave Ramsey. I mean, this is long before life coaching, anything like that, and read his book and was like, gosh, this is so simple. Like literally a little child could write this. But I found like I couldn't apply it. I was like, I understand the concepts, but I would be like, in the moment. And then I started listening to his podcast and read his book. And I was like, okay, this guy is making a mint off of like really something that's very simple. That's how I view the fitness and nutrition piece of this. Like it's basically common sense. There are a few things that you need to do consistently. But I was like, but I get that people need help implementing. So between the podcast and a book, that's what I would hope to accomplish is like dumb this down for everyone. Make this as mainstream as Weight Watchers or
right. I see.
Or something. But also, I mean, start spreading the concept like, women can have it all, but you cannot do it not eating. You cannot do it running on fumes. And that's, I mean, almost every woman that we coach a lot of professional women. And I mean, they're trying to climb the corporate ladder, be the star parent, be the amazing supportive wife, eating 1,200 calories a day and running 5 miles a day. It does not work.
Oh, Jo, thank you so much for cheerleading this message. What are some top tips that come from these misconceptions that are preventing so many women from eating what they need to eat for fuel, like you're talking about? What are some top tips?
Yeah. So I think one is a mindset shift that like nourishing your body, honestly, building the body of your dreams. That's my main message also. You can be 50 years old and you can still have the most rockin' body you've ever wanted. It's not going to happen overnight, but like age is really not the barrier. It's your lifestyle. So, but this is an additive process. It's not a diminutive process. So it's not a matter of like not eating, taking things away. Like so many people get so hung up on, well, I can't eat sugar or flour. No, what you really need to be doing is eating enough protein. You start eating enough protein, and so our minimum guideline is 100 grams a day. Most people need to eat more than that, but most women are eating like 20 grams a day or 30. So start eating 100 grams of protein. The flour and sugar are going to take care of themselves. You will not crave that stuff. So then I think the other big misconception is I have to do hours and hours of spinning or Peloton or running. And no, what you really need to do is like lift weights 2 or 3 times a week. Real weightlifting sessions, all the big body parts. And then really, you need to be eating enough food most of the time. You can go through short periods where you are on a diet to lose body fat. But so this goes to one of our main messages. If you want to lose weight or change your body, it's going to be nearly impossible if you've driven your metabolism into the ground. And you can change it. You can speed it up. It is through nutrition and exercise, which is eating enough and putting muscle on your body. You don't do that by going on a diet. So,
boom, mic drop. Boom. So tell us, how can people best get in touch with you?
Okay. So I would say if you want to learn more about us, sort of what we do, our podcast is, people love our podcast. It's called Boost Your Metabolism After Age 30. So I would start there. We have a private Facebook group with the same name. We post a lot in there. And then our website is couturefitnesscoaching.com. We have tons of blog articles, tons of high protein recipes, not weird recipes, but like lots of menus that you can get an idea of how to start eating in a way that will support your metabolism and nourish your body. So those would be the places that I would start. You can schedule a 15-minute call with us. We will just kind of, if you are like, gosh, I do feel like I'm running on fumes and I can't lose weight and I don't know what's going on, we'd be happy to jump on a call with you.
Thank you so much, Jo. This is amazing. I still can't believe the whole bikini competition thing.
I'll send you some pictures.
Oh my gosh. Like, how sometimes people say public speaking is the scariest thing. I cannot imagine walking on a stage in a bikini being judged. Oh my goodness. So brave. So I just really want to thank you for taking the time from your day to tell your story, to share all of this amazing information and your perspective of what it was like for you to really find something you love to do and to move this important business into the world without giving up your day job, because you love that too. I love how committed you are to understanding the metabolism mystery and to helping us all understand it better too. So I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you. It was wonderful to talk to you.
All right, that's it for now. If you're listening and loving what you hear, please like and subscribe. Reviews are great too and much appreciated. And if you're a woman in the middle who's 50 or over and an entrepreneur and would like to also come on the show, please go to www.midlifeinterviews.com and fill out an application. We'd love to have you on to share your story. Thanks so much for listening. It's never too late to put yourself on your agenda. I'm Susie Rosenstein, and I'll talk to you again soon. Now, real quick before we say goodbye, if you are connecting with this show, I'd love to invite you to a happiness breakthrough coaching session. It's my laser-focused coaching call that will help you get clear about what's getting in your way as a woman in the middle entrepreneur and confident about your next steps to more happiness in your next chapter. Head over to www.nextchapterbreakthrough.com. Talk to you soon.